Hey, Bruno, how are you?
I'm fine, Forster. And about you?
I'm doing great. Thank you for taking the time to talk to me today. So, Bruno, you are one of our Sound School students. You've actually just completed 20 weeks of Sound School. So, we've been talking a little bit about the future of Sound School and where we are going in the future.
Hmm.
But I just wanted to ask you a couple of questions for students that are thinking about doing Sound School. Is that cool with you?
Sure, sure.
Cool. Um, so first, could you just give me like a very short introduction to like who you are, what you do, and maybe a little bit about your background in English?
Okay. And so my name is Bruno. I'm from São Paulo, Brazil, and I never take any course of English before. This is the first time I take some English course, and I really like the idea of learning English, focusing in the pronunciation.
Yeah.
And I don't know what else you asked.
Um, I asked, what do you do? But I know what you do, and it's really, really complicated.
I'm I'm a PhD student. Basically, I'm a biologist, and now I'm working with relating bioinformatics with cancer. Basically, that,
Oh yeah, very simple. Just the
yeah,
the combination of bioinformatics and chemistry. That's just what I do on a normal day.
yeah.
Um, where are you doing your PhD? At which university?
Actually, is in a hospital, AC Camargo. Uh, I think to understand the chemistry, I said cancer, but there's a
Ah, cancer and bioinformatics.
yes, it's a
Whoa,
cancer hospital, so I work there.
man. Yeah. So obviously, Bruno is much smarter than I am. You should be
No, no.
interviewing me. Um, so, Bruno, something interesting about you is you did not have like more formal traditional English classes before you did sound school, which honestly I think helped you because a lot of our students, one of the problems is they just like have the idea of like the book is on the table. That is where I need to start. And you just immediately were like, this is a completely different way of thinking about English.
Yeah.
So, so can I ask you what made you start sound school in the first place?
The main reason that I started this course was basically because the Inglês no Curso podcast. I really enjoyed the episodes talking about tips for pronunciation, basically something related with the verb conjugation, but mostly the pronunciation part because I never learned English in that way.
Yeah, yeah,
Because,
yeah. No one talks about pronunciation.
yeah,
That's kind of the entire idea of Inglês no cru. Um, do you have when do you listen to podcasts normally? Like, are you doing other things? Are you going to work, or are you like sitting down and really focusing?
no, I'm only listening podcasts when I'm coming back from work because I can even in English if I'm doing another thing I can understand. Because
Right.
in Portuguese also because I'm listening mostly uh, news podcast
Yeah.
English crew, and then I if I'm not paying attention I can understand, and I
Yeah.
can do this in home and cannot sit down and listen because I think I want. It's like reading a book. I can't stop in home and read a book. I read book when I'm coming for work, going for work,
Yeah. Yeah. Going to work.
going to work.
Yeah, that is difficult. We say going to work and then coming home from work.
Yeah.
It really doesn't make much sense. Yeah, that's one of the reasons I love podcasting, and kind of what we tried to design the course with is the idea with audio. You really have to pay attention to the sounds, and it's much easier. Like if you're reading something, it's much easier to think like, oh, I speak English. But if you were just listening to something, you understand it or you don't,
Yeah.
it's very clear. Yeah. Yeah. Um, cool. So Bruno, just really fast, do you have any specific parts of sound school that you really enjoyed, or things you really didn't enjoy?
I really enjoy the beginning of the course that I think was 4 or 5 weeks focusing only on the sounds, different sounds of English. And I think that I improved a lot. Focus every week, focusing on only on one sound, and more advanced. The other weeks that I enjoy was the this there one class that you have to make a script, create a script that you have to train and record after.
Uh-huh.
So I can practice a lot of my background, for example.
Yeah.
Yeah, this class were nice, and
Yeah.
also the class that I have to watch a video from YouTube, and I have to explain in a simple way for somebody that never listened this topic before. It was really challenging for me to explain something that for me, also was not my specific uh, interest topic
Yeah.
about.
Yeah. It's interesting that when I have so many students that they watch English videos on YouTube all the time, like how to learn English. And if you would just stop and just take a normal video and stop and try to explain that video in a simple way, it helps so much more, and it's so much more difficult. Yeah. So did you think, especially when you were beginning the course, but even maybe at the end of the course, did, were there times where you're like, this is weird, why am I doing this? Because
No,
a lot of students probably think like, why should I focus on pronunciation for 20 weeks,
no, for me, the the pronunciation was the main reason that I take this course. But for me, the difficult part was in the beginning because I never record myself talking English, even in Portuguese. I never did this before.
Yeah.
That was really hard for me, but with time and with the course, along the course, we have to do this frequently.
Yeah.
Record yourself, uh, practice speech pronunciation. That really helps. For me, this really helped me for improve my pronunciation and also my conversation in
Yeah.
English. Yeah.
So just a quick tip, Bruno. I think you said along the course. I think I would say throughout the
Yeah.
course.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, almost, I would say 95% of our students in the first week, we ask you to record a video, just like introducing yourself and tell us about your experiences in English, what your goals and objectives are. Everybody, almost 100%, sends an email saying like, I'm so sorry for the video. This is my first time recording. And then in the video, they're like, I'm just going to speak in Portuguese real fast. I have never recorded before. This is very uncomfortable. And I think just getting past that first step is really, really useful.
I think I sent this email
Yeah,
for.
I'm not positive, but
I think that
statistically,
It's probable.
Very probable.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Cool. Cool. Bruno, do you have any recommendations for, like, what recommendations would you give to someone that is not quite as advanced as you in English, but they're trying to make progress and just really nothing's happening? Where would you recommend focusing their time?
First thing, I don't think I'm advanced student, but for anyone that are thinking to improve their English, I think it's like what you said in the podcast. You have to practice, practice
Practice, yeah.
the speaking, and I think this course really helps for this goal, because when you know that you're saying correctly the sounds, pronunciation, pronounce correctly the sounds, I think we get more comfortable when we are talking.
Yeah. Yeah, that
Even
was, sorry, go ahead, continue.
even if you know that's not perfect, but you will start to pay attention in this pronunciation, and I
Yeah.
think this helps a lot.
Yeah, that was really kind of one of my principal ideas in the beginning, is the main reason that we don't want to speak with native speakers in different
Mm.
languages is because we think we sound stupid and we just don't want to have that experience. So I was like, how can I convince people that you do not sound stupid and you're pronouncing something correctly? And if you're not, how to help you? So I meant to ask you this, um, with the feedback in the course. So each week we have a lot of different exercises. Sometimes it's a specific sound. Sometimes it's like recording a video talking about, a lot of different things. We make you do a lot of crazy things.
Mm.
Um, was that useful for you when I was giving you specific feedback, or was that like too much information?
No, that was, I think this that was essential for me, because when you say uh, American native, when you say a teacher of language, say that I'm saying that correctly and you can understand, I will get really happy, because before I think no one understand, even Portuguese people,
Yeah.
Brazilian people won't understand what I'm saying. What I'm saying. But
Yeah.
when you do this feedback, I get really happy. I show it to my girlfriend, because of, oh, I did this test. It was, he liked it. No, I really get happy because of it.
You only show her the good ones.
Yeah, yeah. I don't show her that when I'm singing. So that will never happen.
Yeah. What about, I mean, I try to never give like negative feedback saying like this is bad, but I
Hmm.
always try to give you some criticism when I
Yeah.
can. Like, hey, Bruno, you're saying this, you can improve in this area. Does that make you feel like really negative? Like, I don't speak English? Or did that help? Like, oh, I just
No,
changed this one thing.
not at all. I really like it when you make a critic,
Yeah.
or
Make a criticism.
make a criticism about what I just did, because I know I'm not perfect. I know it must have a lot of errors, but when you do this criticism, I I try to improve that specific detail that you give to me.
Yeah. I think it helps with the idea of a lot of people are like, I know I'm not perfect. I make a lot of mistakes. But if we're just focusing on one thing and I'm giving you a very specific thing that you can improve, it
Yeah,
helps you forget like, oh, I need to think about all of these other things in my English. Yeah. I ask you this because honestly, I think it's really important that we give personal feedback to all of our students, but it's the most difficult thing about my
Yes.
life right now is I have to give feedback every day. It's like a big portion of my life. And if we
Yeah.
did not do the personal feedback, it would be much easier. Like, students, start the course. Okay, have fun. But I think it's important. So it's good to hear you say that because,
I think it was essential for me to improve and get to know where I'm heading to the course, when I'm at right now, what I have to improve into it. I think I know that it is a lot of hard work for you to feedback every one of the students, but I think it's really great that you do that.
thanks. I mean, it's a lot of work, but it's also fun. I mean, it's very strange that a big part of my life is just me with headphones listening to Brazilians. And I'm like, no, no, you have with the final M, you need to close your mouth here. You were saying from, but you should say from.
Yeah.
I say that at least 20 times per day. A strange life. Yeah. Cool. All right, Bruno, I know that you have a lot of work saving the world via bioinformatics cancer. But do you have any last things that you would, I don't know, want to ask me or say to anyone that's thinking about potentially starting to study with us?
I will only recommend the people to do the course and to.
You don't have to say that. Just
But I
I'm
really
not forcing Bruno.
no, it's not. I really recommend this course for everyone. Actually make the propaganda for friends of mine, and
Nice. Thank you.
I think that in the beginning is always hard for talk another language, but it's really um, it's really nice to see that you are improving. For me, it was really nice to really improve my English, and I have the feedback of a teacher that I saying that you are an advanced student. I really like
Yeah.
the feedback, and I really like this course, and I recommend for everyone that you want to improve the pronunciation, the conversation. Yeah.
Yeah. But that's really nice to hear. And I know that you say, well, I don't think I'm an advanced student. First, I think the labels are kind of stupid. Like I'm an intermediate student. Like, what
Mm,
does that mean? When I say you're an advanced student, it means you can speak English. We can have a conversation and talk about more or less anything. And of course, you will make some mistakes. There are places where you can improve and I could correct you.
mhm.
But for me, you're 100% like conversationally advanced. So you're definitely advanced. And
Oh, really nice.
you did a really good job in the course. So we really appreciate it. And I appreciate you taking some time today, man.
All right, thank you.
All right. Thanks a lot, dude. I will talk to
Thank
you soon.